Great. Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the AIXR VR Awards Ask Me Anything series. And today we're featuring the VR marketing of the year winners, HIKKY. My name is Leila Amisadegi. I am currently, I just joined the Microsoft Mixed Reality team as a senior program manager for Altspace. So this is actually my first maybe appearance as Microsoft.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And handing it over to you for some introductions.
Hi. So I'm Lhun. Dylan is a good way to remember it. I work with VR HIKKY on and global outreach. So Altspace is a pretty good place to do that. A lot of Japan is not as I would say active here. So it's a great place to start. But what I do is I do obviously outreach and marketing, production, a little bit of world building and 3D. So we all wear a lot of hats here. But generally speaking, what we do is we market in VR events for other companies, for corporate companies, for individual users and independent creators. And we try to essentially effectively provide conference spaces and things of that nature for them, so that they can promote to the right kind of people, the folks that that are deeply invested in VR, deeply interested in VR. Essentially, we're marketing directly to the types of clients that they're looking to have. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Aomee. I am based in Japan, and I'm more involved into the JP side of the corporation VR HIKKY. Well, since VR HIKKY is a corporation located in Japan, our production and our a lot of our I would say everything was based in our language. So I'm here to introduce more of on what production side opinion thing, so that that's my profession. So I'm here. Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome. Well, congratulations to you both for winning this award. That's amazing. This is sort of an Ask Me Anything for these guys. I mean, I'd love to understand. Let's talk. Can you tell me a little bit more? So you say you do marketing for creators in world as well as helping others who want to come into VR. So
yeah, so a lot of corporations will do case studies. They want to see what social VR is all about. So a really immersive way to get a product in front of someone, whether that's a physical thing in the real world or a movie or a piece of software or a 3D camera, like you name it. They want to find ways or innovative ways to sort of explore what it's like to show those things in a virtual space, because we all expect this to take off or continue to take off, right? I've got a microphone in front of me now. We're in a very immersive theater type environment. You're all not going anywhere. It's very easy to be distracted in front of a YouTube, or have an ad pop up, or have a message pull you away. But in VR, it's very different. It's like being in a physical conference space. So HIKKY modeled essentially virtual market, I guess 4 years ago in August.
3 years.
About 3 years ago. Yeah, it'll be about that.
2018 August. Yeah.
That's right. So the idea was to highlight creators that were building avatars and 3D models and world building kits and scripts and things like that, primarily in social VR applications like VR chat, and as a way to have them displayed in a Comiket or E3 style event, but in something that we've built on our own. That attracted investment opportunities and other interested parties like Unity Japan, and we've sort of snowballed from there.
Wow, great. Awesome. Anyone in the audience have a question for these gents? I mean, I can keep asking you questions all day long, but
feel free.
About me here. Well, I mean, can you talk a little bit about some of your favorite projects? I mean, let's actually take a step back. highlight some of the creators that you've been coming across?
How some of the creators that we've come across, it's incredible. Like a lot of them have gone on to either work for the company or start independent businesses doing 3D modeling or getting jobs in the XR industry in general. A lot of them had
Amazing.
jobs in the XR industry, or they've built on that, but it's a way to sort of build a portfolio. So you can imagine an indie company. You go all the way back to Oculus's beginnings, being in a hallway with a laptop. It's kind of like that, except in social VR, right? Because the users or the people who are going to be interested in the things you're trying to show them are already there. They're already in VR. You have platforms with concurrent user kit sets at 42,000 people, and these things are now being tried a little bit more broadly in places like Roblox and even things like Fortnite. This avatar culture that we really come from is really what HIKKY is all about. The company started as a way to spread out those independent creators, those 3D modelers who were doing things as side jobs. Maybe they were modeling for the industry or independently or learning this trade, but it gives them a way to be independent, but also have that encouragement of deadlines and creativity and the group efforts to put something like that together. The booths that are in these events, it's not really about the corporate sponsors so much as it is about the independent creators. The corporate sponsors are the draw, and the independent creators are building what is essentially a booth, like you would find on any other show floor, with the products that they're showing off and the creativity that goes into building these little micro worlds to show off the things that they're building is part of the encouragement of how we get them to join us.
Amazing.
It's
So
the
you're
thing,
building a virtual portfolio as an
right? Yeah, exactly. And
That's
each one
awesome.
of those gets to do that independently. So we provide this essentially a show floor for them to have those things, and it's grown from being sort of a white space to to fully themed environments that may fit the style of whatever it is that they're showing.
That's excellent. Um, uh, for the audience, in case you didn't know, you should have some tools on your right side that allow you to raise your hand to ask a question. Um, right. Have you done anything here in Altspace?
Um, a long time ago. I haven't done anything yet. We see that Altspace now has creator tools in Unity, which is fantastic. I'm excited to sort of explore that too. I think that really does, that's where you're qualified as an event, right? Where you can do something independently. A lot of social VR applications try to sort of give you everything in world, and that can work too. But the being able to independently create anything you dream up is really important, and being able to build an identity around your avatar or around the things you build is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can speak on behalf of Altspace here when I say, we are a creator platform. We're looking to become more of a creator platform to really build the tools and implement the functionality that's required for the community to be doing the experiences and the events. And like you
Hmm.
said, I mean, there's an incredible creator community out there across the platforms, and especially here in Altspace, a few of which I
Yeah.
can see in the audience.
Awesome. No, it's great to see that. Really, that's part of. We started really early. Japan is always been an early adoption, a place where of early adoption, especially in technology. There's a lot of artistic people. A major export is anime and manga and that sort of thing. So
Hmm.
that create together style is something that's been coming along here, and then that gets noticed by companies like Disney and Audi and Netflix and
Mm.
Marvel Cinemas and other companies we've worked with, and we get to build big experiences for them too, and use that as a way to also encourage people to dream up to get to that point. But we're able to tap independent creators to build those things as well, and to work with them to build a VR friendly experience or something that a savvy tech community will appreciate.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm stuck in my menu here. Jesus, the things you say in VR. um, it's great. So So it sounds like you've also, in showcasing these creators, you're able to basically present as almost an agency, I guess, of sorts
That's
for
right.
these brands, and then you're able to then bring in the right creators to do the work.
That's right.
So
So,
it's
as part of a way to market for them, we obviously allow the creators to come in for free. Again, we provide deadlines and tools for them to work collaboratively, templates and things of that nature for their booths and other things for automation. We build the systems in a way that allows us to deploy a mass number of booths to the out to these environments that we've built up, and then we provide them with art and promotion and a lot of different things like that to market for them. And then that turns into being able to do things like we did the oh sure.
Hey there.
yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
This show is very, very awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Very. I mean, yeah, it is. Thanks for bothering.
Awesome.
Awesome.
We do have some audience questions. I wanted to
Sure.
bring up. Hi, I'm Mitch. To speak.
That's me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
We can.
So I work in VR marketing as well.
Hmm.
I was kind of wondering, like, specifically about marketing on social media. Like,
Sure.
have you had any success with one social media platform specifically, like Facebook more than Twitter, or like have you branched out into like TikTok marketing, like anything like that? Have you had
We
specifically
do.
more success with one?
Well, so for us, we're kind of a non-traditional marketer, but we do obviously do social media marketing. So Twitter is big, not only in Japan but everywhere. So that becomes a really good place to do some things. And but Facebook is also really popular too, as well as a lot of other things. Like we use, we have a unique strategy of community marketing as well. So you go where the users are. And you have to find either a niche of people that are interested in the types of things you might be interested in, and whether that's doing it directly inside social VR like we're doing right now, or in or finding those communities outside and wherever they may be. There's large communities from all over the world in different places. We find a lot of people in South America and in Mexico are using Instagram and Facebook a lot more than maybe Twitter, and TikTok is really, really popular in Asia, and a lot of other places too now. And that continues, right? So you really just have to kind of roll with it. But it's not about the social media platform, so to speak. It's more about the communities that are on those platforms and finding them there. Sometimes it's Reddit, sometimes it's it can be Discord. It really does.
Yeah.
It really is like that. It's not so much the platform, but the people.
Exactly. Yeah. We have started from Japan, and in Japan, actually, well, the Twitter community is a rather tech-savvy community. So that's why we have a rather bigger audience on Twitter, which is like nearly 20,000 followers. Was that? Yeah.
Yeah, for the main
So
account.
yeah, for the main account, yeah, and we have some sub accounts and of course more in those accounts. Yes. So well, but that's just because that we have started there, and just like Lynn mentioned, it's all about finding the right people in the right place and just providing the desired information to the community. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's targeting the right groups of people. You got to find what they're
yeah,
interested in. Part of what we're doing now is like game VCAT. So like the next step has been by diversifying from a more general event into different niches, whether that's music or video games or or more specific things for specific companies. But finding the community that's interested in that and then finding a way to bring them into VR or to find them where they already are is part of what we do as well.
Great. Do you have a sense of where your community, sort of regionally, how your community is segmented? Is there a lot? Is it predominantly Asia or is it global?
No, actually, it was revealed at VCAT 4 that, or VCAT 5 rather, that actually more people from North America and English-speaking countries come to our events. Just like I think anime and manga and that kind of interest in Japanese products, like whether those are video games or whatever the case may be, tends to be predominantly overseas once those things are released. So there's a large contingency of people who really like products from Japan or Japanese style, and so they'll seek that out. We find that a lot of the creators have predominantly been in Japan up until recently, but that was more because we didn't really have the globalization that we had for this event, and we were still building that previously. But still, the attendees would be, the customers are definitely there. So obviously, there's a drive to be recognizable by brands like like whether it's Autodesk or Ricoh or whoever may be coming in. They want to be seen by the world if you can, right? But the creators that are working with them historically, at least in our company, have been from Japan. But that's really starting to change. We have a huge amount of people coming in and building stuff with us now from all over. But the audience is actually more from English-speaking countries and North America and Great Britain and so on.
Great. Morning, everyone. Do you need coffee? Oh, it's afternoon. Feel like I'm hoping we are not putting you all to sleep. Anybody? I mean, I'm enjoying this conversation at least. Lhun, oh wait, we have some participants. Awesome. Wait, oh yay, Athena, Aunt Athena, I have a question.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes,
Awesome.
ma'am.
We can.
Perfect. If I wanted to look at some of the campaigns that you've done and look at some of the artists that you represent, where would be the best place to find these resources?
Oh, easy. So you can look at Virtual Market on Twitter is a great place to sort of fall down the rabbit hole. But also we do have a e-commerce site, and that sort of forms the backbone of our system. So it's a v-market.work. And on that site, you'll find various events that we've thrown, companies that we're currently working with and have worked with in the past, special production avatars that we've done for them. You can buy a model of Godzilla there and use it in social media or VR SNS platforms if you want to. So that's that rabbit hole. But we do release on PR times in Japan, and we do have English releases that we're doing on several different sites now as well, but you will find them. We also have, for English speakers primarily, we also have some themed accounts for those types of things too, and you'll start to see those get retweeted and linked as well in there, and that's a good place to start. But v-market.work does work, and it's fully translated, and the information about how that starts is where you'll find most of it.
Great. v-market.org or .com?
.work.
.work.
W-O-R-K.
W-O-R-K.
Yep.
Got it. v-market.work. Okay, I'm writing
That's
that
right.
down.
Awesome. Let's see. What would talk to us about something that you really want to talk about, that you're passionate about, that hasn't necessarily been asked?
Sure. So right now, one of the most exciting things that we've been doing has been Music VCAT for me. I'm a huge music fan, and if anyone remembers The Wave, they just recently closed down their social VR sort of experience that you could go into. So I feel like that's missing. We're missing a place to do that. So at HIKKY, we've been working with music producers to create some pretty incredible stuff. If you have on Oculus, you can probably find the Miyavi Virtual 360 experience, which is a recording of something that you could go visit yourself. I worked on that quite directly, actually.
Can you say that again? Which experience?
The Miyavi Virtual 360.
Miyavi Virtual
Yep. So that
360.
Yep, that was sponsored by Big Camera
Yeah, the
and
virtual live 360.
yeah, that's right. Virtual Live 360. My apologies. And you can find that on Oculus TV. But that event was a full 3D VR production that was done in collaboration with Unity particle system experts, as well as 3D, a full 3D video production, and it was a live concert that you could attend inside virtual reality. And that was a fairly big production for a pretty big a pretty big artist. He's been a staple of the rock music scene in Japan for a long time.
Great. Hi, friend. Do you have a question? Is that what's happening? You can raise your hand if you have a question. There's a functionality to your right. Okay.
Maybe your microphone is muted. Can.
Awesome. So Canada, Japan, are you planning to have folks out here as well in the States? Well, out here is
we
virtual
already do.
reality, so
Yes, we do.
like I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
Oh, you do? You have offices here.
Yep,
That's
we
great.
do. So we have employees that we have a very mixed remote and local work culture. So there are obviously folks that go down to the HIKKY offices and live and work in Japan. But from the very beginning, our founder has been a presence in VR and that remote work. We do a lot of collaboration in social VR spaces. We talk to we do planning with 3D pens and and build out the frameworks of these events that we're going to do in social VR and outside of it, as well as over things like Teams and other platforms like that. So it really is a mix.
Great. We have another question from Athena. Go for it.
I'm curious about the name HIKKY. Is there a story behind it?
There is actually a pretty interesting
There
story.
is.
So do you want to take this
Good
one, Naomi?
question.
Oh yeah, I think I will. Okay,
Sure.
so hiki comes from a Japanese word which pretty much means person who would not often go out of their home. Yeah, which means that because the origin of our company is that we just wanted to achieve and we are trying to achieve a world that people can actually live and just do anything from in VR and through VR. So that includes working from VR. That includes just purchasing products from VR. That is our primary goal, and that is what we are heading for, and that is what we have achieved so far. So that is the story. Well, frankly, behind the name HIKKY. Yeah, and well, it is actually, as a native Japanese speaker, I would say that it is a very unique name. Yeah.
It is a unique
Yeah.
name for a company. We're trying to
Yeah.
build an economic cycle where people can live and work inside VR, but also for the people who are spending a lot of time in here, and they are more numerous than you might believe. The ability to pick up a product and look at it in 3 dimensions, whether that's something that you might order online and have shipped to your home, or go out and buy, regardless of your level of integration there. But we want to build that economic cycle where people can learn and teach and work together and build things inside VR.
Great. You're building the Oasis. Is that what's happening?
That's the plan. But you have to sustain yourself. You need to have an income. And for the
Absolutely.
longest time, for VR enthusiasts in social VR platforms, there wasn't that. And to get away from things like asset rips and game piracy, we want to find ways to allow for products that people want, obviously, and to find a real economic way or a real collaborative way and legal way to sell those things, and provide a framework for end users building these types of incredible experiences and avatars and 3D models, and give them a place to sell their product as well, by creating that kind of cycle, those shows, those showers, those art galleries.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Oh, we have a question here. No. Um, anyone else have questions for the HIKKY team? I think I'm about to fall out of my chair. Oh, yeah. Athena, do you have another question?
I
Your
do have
hand is
another
raised.
question. So you were
Excellent.
talking about creating a marketplace for artists, and the workshop I was at right before this one was all about NFTs,
Right.
which is definitely a direction that artists are looking at. Are you
Mhm.
looking to integrate the NFT marketplace into what you're working on, or is what you're creating something completely different and independent?
It's always started independence. We've been around before, like the idea of a. I think where it's interesting in what they're doing is it's a way for artists to actually have a perceived value for a digital good, and we're sort of doing the same thing. But we're using traditional currency to do it. And the standard type of way where you would buy something, whether that's physical or digital or both. But where we think the value comes down to is being able to prove ownership of something by attending an event like this. You're building something that you have like this paper trail of what you're doing. So I think there's a bit of an overlap. I'm definitely aware of the idea of an NFT and how all of that works, and we pay a lot of attention to that. We want artists to be able to be paid for their works too, and however wherever the technology goes, I think that we'll pay really close attention to it. But as you can see, there's things like this that people struggle to find ways to hold on to value in these things. We do some of that through limited time events. Things like being able to ticketing or having a short time or a short window when you can attend something like this, which is something that is true for virtual market as well. Our corporate worlds become closed after they're done. So the big attraction, if that's Netflix, if you want to go see the first episode of the new Ghost in the Shell series on Netflix, you could only do that at Virtual Markets Paris Tokyo when we did it, and that closed. But of course, the artists that were independent, we reopened those afterwards for them to attend, and you can go back and see those works afterwards because those are the real stars to us.
Thank you.
No problem.
Great. I'm stuck with my menu again. God Lord. All right. So, well, this has been great so far. Excited for what you're doing. I mean, it sounds like you're, one part Unity store, but in VR for
Right.
creators, for their assets, but also for the worlds and for the experiences that come behind it.
We've got folks that build
and
a lot of things. It's not just avatars. It's not just art pieces. Sometimes it's architectural pieces. You could get things from Virtual Market and bring them to Altspace and use them here too. So we try to cater to that. But it's also that unique experience of attending a show while it's live, just like it would be going to E3 or PAX or any of these conventions or concerts that you couldn't go to before. So we're trying to give you that experience. And that's part of why it works so well in marketing.
Yeah, I've seen some people even showcasing actual goods, not VR assets, but actual goods in virtual markets. So we don't really um limit to anything. Just we
Yeah.
showcase the great things just created by the individual creators. That is our mission, and that's what we do. So yeah.
Yeah. Or being able to see something like a Gundam in scale, for HP. That partnership
Yeah.
together is really interesting. And that's one of the only places you can do that. Or to be able to, pick your favorite character from a video game that you like and be able to legally bring that into a social VR space. By forming these brand partnerships with big companies, we can do that. And then of course it furthers our goal of allowing independent creators to create things as well. Or if you're a company like Ricoh and you'd like to have, you'd like to show off your 360 camera, it's to scale. You can pick the thing up, you can turn it around, you can look at it, and by funneling users past those things, it really enhances their experience and their and by doing it in the spaces that they're in, they get the feeling that that company is forward thinking and kind of gets them, because I think that in a few years the quote unquote VR generation is going to be a lot larger, and that's only just ramping up, right? So if you can show people you get it early, I think that you'll have some loyal fans.
That's awesome. And you guys have been around a few years, so definitely
Mhm.
early. Athena, is your hand up again? I mean, I love it. We love your questions.
No, I didn't raise my hand again.
Okay, all right.
I don't have another question. Sorry. I could think of
Brandon has a question. Brandon, we have a Brandon?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So where do you think you can see yourself as a company in the next 5 years' time?
It's been
5
growing
years'
pretty
time.
rapidly.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is only our fourth year. No, we're still on our third year, right?
We're still
HIKKY.
on our third year. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on our third year, and actually, personally, I actually have joined HIKKY last year, last April, and before that, I was just exhibitor or just an audience to virtual market. And it was like um a very unbelievable rate of growth that HIKKY has achieved, and I'm always amazed by how this company is growing. So that I would say that I have no idea.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. We just at the end of the fiscal year for April, we just added a ton of new employees on in the Japanese
That's
branch as
awesome.
well. That just started, and we because we need it. The rate of production that we're doing right now is unbelievable, and we want to also make sure that everything that we do is accessible in multiple languages for people all over the world, because we truly have an international audience. So and these are internationally recognizable brands and shows that are translated all over. So yeah, it's really hard to say where the company is going, but I think the relationships we've made early with both independent creators and big companies will help fuel the rocket ship, and that's the way we're looking at it right now. It's a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
I
growing
bet.
faster than we think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 5 years I mean, that's like 30 years really in internet years.
Yeah, this
Or in
everyone
VR
who
years.
started on this, we all had CV1s or some of us DK2s, and then in a couple of years we're doing conventions in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it feels like the 2004 microsite days when
Yeah.
sort of the internet was, brands were like, oh, we need to be on this.
Need to have a website. Yeah,
We need the it feels very
very amped. I feel that way.
mission.
I grew up with internet. It was like part of the last generation that didn't have social media in high school, thank God. But but I feel like being
too.
in that cohort of folks who watched the internet go from 2400 baud modems and remembering what the wild west of the internet was like. I get those feelings a lot. I get that same connection where, man, the people who are really into VR, if you spend time with people who have haptic suits and full body tracking and mouth tracking, and they've made full custom avatars with thousands of tricks and different outfits that they can swap on the fly and things like that. You meet those folks who are deep in there, and they've built what looks like a AAA game for fun. Those you see that potential that's there. Right now it is and it isn't niche, and it's really starting to break away from that, where the people making those experiences are now going to go on and make those experiences for big recognizable brands, which draw more people in, and that'll just continue to snowball. The coolest websites went on to be big things, and every business that started that way I think the bubble's already happened once for VR, so I'm not worried about a .com crash. I feel like this is just the beginning of a technology boom.
Yeah, I'll definitely go with that. You talk about avatar portability. Let's look at that because platforms aren't super friendly for each other right now. So how
That's
how
starting to
is
change.
that scalable?
Yeah, I think that's starting to change. For example, a lot of the formats that Altspace uses are universally compatible in a lot of other social VR platforms as well. WebGL is starting to mature, and those things work there too. We have platforms where people who don't have VR headsets and want to experience our stuff on a cell phone or their tablet can do that. They can go to the same convention, and it's fully portable. Building avatars are starting to get there with OpenXR, and thanks to Microsoft actually doing a bit of that is great. And pushing that OpenXR standard is really helping because we have things like standard callouts for hands and faces, right? But avatar portability is more there than you might think. In almost everything, I have what I consider my base model, I suppose, in a ton of different things, just a ton of different things, and that is a little more prevalent in Japan, but it's starting to come here as well, where you have where Unity standard or a standard armature for things like FBX and GLTF models, and many of our exhibitors are doing models with both versions. So you'll get an OBJ or you'll get what VRM is a very popular format, which is effectively a wrapped. It's a wrapped model that is GLTF. It's all wrapped up with some standard expressions and things like Visemes and other things that work in many different platforms. So you might be surprised at how portable they can be, especially if you start looking into all the different social VR platforms that are out there. I know certainly we'd love for all of it to be like completely compatible with everything, but it's up to creators and groups to build things that allow for more portability between them, and that's really where we see things going, and we sort of push it in that direction by holding these big events.
Yeah, great. I mean, I'd love to see more accessibility, and so I think that's something that the pandemic has created, has basically connected technology to accessibility for so many people that never would have been inside of technology or spent so much time on it.
I
And
feel
so I
like
think it.
Yeah, I
Go
feel
ahead.
like HIKKY had already knew it. So the people who were there, this is just like another day for us, because it just now at least people are willing to give it a shot and try it, and it takes that somebody takes you by the hand and takes you through down the rabbit hole with Alice, and that really you gotta give it a chance to see that level of it. We were lucky enough to be a group and to meet groups of creators who were already in Wonderland, and that's what we built, the castle on top of.
Yeah, absolutely. For those that have just joined, I saw a few people just join. You have the ability to ask questions of the HIKKY team here by raising your hand. There are some tools on the right side of your avatar. Okay. Do you have questions for each other? I guess is kind of interesting, especially having different journeys into HIKKY. That could
Yeah.
be
Oh, certainly.
try different.
It's impossible to have every conversation multinationally. It's not so much that the language and translation tools are helping now, but it's not so much the language that's the issue. I think it's the time sometimes.
The time
where we've
zone.
got-
It's 4
Yeah.
a.m. here.
That's
So
amazing.
thank you,
By the way,
Johnny.
thank you
normally
for
yes.
being awake for this.
Oh, hey, that's I really was excited and am excited to attend this great event. So that's why I just
Yeah.
I'm
A lot of people do see us as this odd, mysterious company that came out of nowhere, right? But for us, they've been we've been a staple in as part of this for a couple of years now. So yeah, definitely. And a question I have for you though is what before we applied for the award, what was the feeling at HIKKY, and then after? Things seem to change really
Oh,
quickly.
Good question.
actually, yeah. So from my point of view, which is more an Eastern point of view, that actually it was even before we have applied to AXR, it was pretty obvious that HIKKY was the leading company, at least in Japan, or I would say that in Asia, that was just doing so amazing in VR, and
Doing marketing directly
doing
inside. Yeah.
marketing directly inside, bringing in those sponsors that are really known nationwide in Japan and also worldwide, like Panasonic or 7-Eleven or what? Yeah, just a
Mhm.
lot. That was yeah. We knew that. In Japan, we knew that, but you know, we it was like Visual Market 4 that we first started to really globalize our event. So I think that is why from the Western audience, it feels like that, just like you have mentioned, the mysterious company who has popped up just suddenly, and yeah, and
Mhm.
showcases to the West. We it's not something really sudden. We really um were doing that, and we
Culturing
finally
relationships.
came to the
Yeah.
phase. Yep, yep, came to the time that and scale that we can reach the global audience. Yeah.
That's amazing. You talk about localization. You talked about localization earlier, making sure that the experiences are localized. How do you go about doing that? Is that a manual, individual translation? How's that done? And then, just to add on to that question, it's not just text or language necessarily, but other cultural sort of
Yeah. Oh,
considerations.
definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. So there definitely is a cultural explainer. Part of why I'm here on the global team is to help with that. The cultural differences, cultural explanations between it. There's a lot of savvy, anime and manga fans. Those folks will come in and want to see this stuff anyway, or they'll have played video games that featured these characters, or they'll be into Godzilla. So you'll meet them for sure. So that's obviously a core group of people that are already interested in what we're doing. But for those who may not have seen that kind of thing, there is that explanation part of it that we have to do in English, where it's more than just a translation. It is that localization. Those are really two different things. So explaining things to an English speaking or primarily English speaking audience is really important. But yeah, so there's a lot of things on that. Well, also we have to be we can kind of pick and choose. There's definitely parts of the event that are more really geared towards like something that you would expect to see in Japan, like an event that might work really well there. And then obviously there's things that will work in the West really, really well. Music is one of those things. And like upcoming game VCAT, video games. Everybody loves video games. So we sort of right now we're being a little bit choosy about which things we localize and which events that we push forward, and which aspects of virtual market that we localize. But also it's building tools. We have folks who are experts in computer science who are building specialized translation tools where you can speak in real time and have that be a portable thing that you can bring on top of other social VR applications, or we build automatic language changes based on the time zone you're into. For example, at Virtual Market 5, we did this in our default cube world. For Udon Cube, if you entered in your time zone was typically a Western time zone, you would get the English interface by default, and then in Japan you would get the Japanese one. But that tool was given to the independent creators making Unity scenes, and then applying them to VCAT's tools that they could use to localize the booth if they wanted to. And so we are trying to be the bridge between that if we can. That's really what the Western outreach portion of HIKKY Corp is all about. But yeah, there was definitely interested parties even before we started. We had a few really early pioneers from the West come into what was effectively an entirely Japanese event and have booths there to our surprise. So it does happen, and they weren't necessarily bilingual either. So again, it comes down to finding the right kind of communities, and they'll find you too.
That's great. Have you done? So you talk about the virtual conferences or virtual events. Have you done the physical? Have you done real world ones as well prior to the pandemic, or have you always been from day one a virtual marketplace?
I think Funakoshi has done physical events quite a
Well,
bit.
actually, HIKKY, okay, VR HIKKY has always been a VR company, so we have been concentrating on something via VR. However, the usage of VR and this technology is not limited only to totally virtual experiences accessed from your home. For example, very was like last week, I think. Yeah, we had a conference event that was held in real world, but
Mm.
by using VR, connecting several locations in Japan
All right.
that could only be done through VR. With this presence of the avatars and the feel that we are actually with the person who is actually not in that room. But we never limit it to you know to to the consumer's VR. We explore every possibility of VR conferences, VR events, and the technology itself. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
mixing the
yeah.
two. Actually, I can now that you mention it, I can think of a few other examples. HIKKY also has a brand called Vader, which is a clothing brand. And during the initial sales of those clothing items, we had essentially a portal, or what was a window into a virtual reality experience that was attached to the store. Also, during Virtual Market 4 in Parareal Tokyo, you could go to what was the brand again? The clothing store in Virtual Market
go.
4. I know, yeah, Wigo. They had the actual attendees from the store, but in VR. One interesting thing that they'd done is they'd modeled clothing for their avatar that you could buy in real life, and also fit specific models inside Virtual Market. But the folks from the store were physically there, as attendees to essentially like guide your purchase if you join them at the right time. A similar thing happened with Audi. For their e-tron electric vehicle, they had real Audi racing car drivers that were there. There was an incentive to come in and book a test drive for the vehicle right there, but you could speak to those racing car drivers if you were into that kind of thing. And we provided a virtual version of the racing suit that they would use, for that as well. So you got to speak to celebrities that way and bridge that gap, inside VR.
Fantastic. So we are coming soon to a close of this event. Love to see if anyone has any additional questions for the amazing VR HIKKY team. Please do raise your hands if you do, or your hand. Just one hand's doable. Great. Well, any last thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
If nobody has any questions, don't be shy. Honestly, we're pretty open today. If you've ever had an interest in this kind of thing, if you are curious what a virtual event is like, take a little time to learn how to use some social VR platforms. Maybe we'll be in here one day, and again, check out what we're doing. Right, like the experience of being inside of a really bustling conference event like that is really exciting. There's a lot of like very short events that we do that don't ever see the light of day afterwards, and I'm always disappointed about that. But we have lots and lots of things coming up. Our latest one is Game Vivicat, where you can go to essentially a games convention inside virtual reality and experience those indie games. And we're providing the ability for indie game creators to upload booths and videos and trailers and downloads to demo their games. There'll be a lot of exclusive things going on during that. There's also Music VCAT, where we highlight independent music creators, and we have a lot of them. I think we had 120 or more musicians produce albums and singles for that event that you could listen to in
Actually,
sort of a
more
listening
than
mode.
twice of that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm
240
thinking the
something.
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the first one.
240.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first. Yeah, so the first one was
That's great.
was almost 100, and but you can go into this listening environment where you get that spatialized audio experience. You get that stereo
Mhm.
experience as if you'd walked into a record store and popped a set of headphones on.
That-
That's really what we're trying to do. And of course the bigger virtual market events as they come up. We're currently exhibiting Toyota Boat Show as well. And you can go see like the Lexus Ponams and those boats in realistic, in realistic full size, and you can experience that in VR too. And those types of events are just popping up, almost more often than I can keep track of. And as we sort of grow this ability to market inside VR and AR.
That's great. We do have a question.
Oh,
I'm
great.
going to bring Gypsy. Oh no, she's gone. Uh-oh,
Oh,
we lost her.
Oh shoot.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot. I really applaud the work you're doing for creators. And really exposing or bringing awareness to amazing creators out there to be able to do great work, and you're making those matches. That's fantastic, and I love that you're creating a marketplace as well for assets.
If you're a creator, don't be afraid to come check it out. I mean, we have a really bustling community of people that build things, and don't let the Japanese scare you. Microsoft Translator is really good too. You have no problems with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I highly encourage you to go deep into some Altspace worlds
Mhm.
as well. There's definitely a lot of experiences that you've sort of described. Love to start getting you more of your creators into Altspace. Personally, I have a
Yeah,
vested
I
interest.
think so too. Of course you do, but that's encouraging. I've actually been a user of Altspace since the beginning. So when this platform first came out, I was here a long time ago, and seeing it branch out beyond what it was. But some of the incredible things that started us all down this path were things like, the some of the live music shows that you've had in here. With a few creators, and I've attended those, and they were
Over
great.
here.
And that's the kind of thing that that we're also trying to achieve. And it's
Awesome.
it's really exciting to see that we all have overlapping interests, right?
That's I agree. It is really heartening to see everyone working together in this space, with really exciting things to come in the future. I would like to thank Lhun and Aomee
Oh, that's right. Yep.
for this great AMA. And if the audience wants to give a big round of applause, show some love, throw some hearts up. Congratulations
ton.
again on the award. Well deserved.
Thank you.